I'm 13 Disciple, and this is Coach's Corner. Welcome back! Okay, this is a very special episode. Not only is it episode 13. Get it? 13 Disciple, episode 13. Okay. Anyways, this is also our featured scavenger hunt episode, and we're also featuring a Wargaming EU community contributor, Yzne. I probably butchered your name. I'm sorry about that, friend. Anyways, I asked him to send me this replay because I wanted to review it on Coach's Corner. So in this one, we won't really be correcting gameplay as pointing out all the right decisions and when they were made. Let's not waste a whole lot of time going through the minimap and the tank lineup, but we will touch on it really briefly. So opposing us, we've got a Carnarvon Action X, which has higher DPM but lower alpha. We have an IS-3, which will be able to outtrade our 240 T26E5. We have a Charioteer and an SU-101 that might be out trading us, and down here at the bottom, we've got a little bit of a spooky ISU-152, which could also be a little bit rough. That tank can have the ability to put very big holes in our vehicle. With that, let's take a look at the minimap and just talk about the two places that I would probably take this vehicle. I would probably either take it up top here, as that is where you'll be able to take advantage of your strong turret armor, remain hull down, and have a pretty good brawling opportunity. You can also play down in this dip area down here, but you will be exposed to artillery. If they are out here or in this square, they will have shots into this area right here. So it's not artillery safe, but it is generally a very good hull down position to hold. Alternatively, another good position would be right here on this corner. There's a little bit of a hull down debris right there that you could side scrape off of and get decent shots through this little alleyway here. However, the tanks that you're shooting at will also have really strong hull down positions, so you may not have the greatest shooting opportunities in that area. But generally, as a top tier heavy in this map, those are the two locations I would probably get to. The map is very small, so even if they do get cap pressure, you generally have enough time to make your way for resets. So not too worried about defending the cap in this instance. All right, let's take a look and see where we head in this replay. So right now, in the there should be a link in the top left corner of the video. You can click that hyperlink and then it'll take you straight to today's scavenger hunt code. That'll be good for, I think, 24 to 48 hours after this video goes live. That'll be only for our NA friends here, as that's an NA run event. If you are interested in having your replays featured on Coach's Corner, down in the description will be a link to my Discord, and inside my Discord there is a channel called Coach's Corner. And in there is where I look for replay submissions with little explanations on the sort of replays that I'm looking for, and hoping that you'll explain why your replay is seeking a little bit of help. So we see Yzne is chosen to go up the hill. I think this is a great idea and a great play. Not really sure what our Lorraine is doing. He may have forgotten that he's in an artillery piece, but you know, whatever, we'll make it work. So we've got 3 top tier tanks headed up the hill. Looks like we got quite a bit of opposition here. We are moving in to take a shot. That's a lot of tanks over there. This is excellent, excellent work at just exposing only enough of your vehicle to get an angle to shoot at. Okay, so I want to talk about everything that just happened within about 30 seconds there, because there was a lot of really good decision making that I want to point out. Number one, when we're working this ridge line and we're trying to shoot this way, we are only putting enough of our tank above that ridge line to get a shot on the first available target that's out here. That means we're minimizing our exposure, and what we're exposing is really strong armor. So even if they do get shots at us, we have a strong chance at bouncing and deflecting that damage. while also having good opportunities to do damage. Second strong play I really want to point out is that as soon as tanks appeared over on this left-hand side, once these realized we're over here, we immediately realized that if we stayed in this area, there is a strong possibility we would take damage from here or here. If we have our armor and are engaging this side, then these guys get free shots into the side of our tank. So our reaction is to fall back so that we can engage one opponent at a time so we can control for good trades. You'll also see down here, Yzne pinged his teammate and said fall back. Why is that? Well, there's a big numbers reason, and we'll look at the minimap. We'll zoom in here. Okay, let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and artillery. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a rough match if we don't fall back and try to engage better. So there's a massive overmatch that's happening right here on top of this hill. Over half of their team is committed to winning the hill, whereas we only have 3 tanks resisting it. The entirety of the rest of our team is looking at defending or capping, and we've got a couple of stragglers in the middle that are just looking for this angle here or shooting down here. He can already see what's happening in this match. But first off is the micro play that's right in front of him. So you'll notice as we get rolling here, he's fallen back so that he can engage single targets and expose to single targets. Let's look at the mistake that his allies are making right now. So Yzne is only shooting and potentially receiving damage from tanks that are directly in front of him, and he's only showing enough of his tank to get damage. Otherwise, the rest of his tank is in cover, right? He has this ridge right here to his right that prevents the tanks directly to his right from damaging him. His allies are not in that same luxury boat. So not only are they trying to engage this tanks on the left here, very, very soon, if not already, they will be taking damage from the right. This is a bad trade because you're taking more damage because you're engaged in more vehicles than you can defend against. So not only are we going to do very little damage, we're going to die very, very quickly, which is why Yzne already read this play and pinged his Carnarvon to fall back, because if we fall back to where Yzne is, that forces these guys up here to come over to this ridge line and engage only a single target at a time, which means the longer that these tanks up here can live and survive, that gives our team down here at the bottom of the map over here to overpower what's over here. So we know we're losing at this area and we're on the weak side. So either we need to resist for as long as we can to buy the rest of our team time to win the opposing flank, or we need to fight for as long as we can and retreat as soon as it's safe to do so, or as late as it's safe to do so. That's probably more accurate. Anyways, let's keep watching. We see, yep, they're already taking damage from the right. We see the SU-101 has already moved in. See that? As soon as this SU-101 has taken this ridgeline away from us, we realize that it's only a matter of time before he turns and we'll have shots here, which means we'll then again be in a potential crossfire. Only want to engage one target at a time, because if we try to engage multiple targets without proper angling, we're going to take more damage than we can put out. We're already getting into a position. Maybe we can get one more shot out. We pause. It's not worth waiting. We're just going. It's not worth waiting. The Carnarvon's already dead. We timed this perfectly. Yzne timed this absolutely perfectly. He stayed here as long as he could to help his allies, and then left as soon as as late as he could while it's still being safe. So what's going to happen next? Well, it's pretty easy to actually read what's going to happen next. So what's happening right now, either in response to losing the hill or not, our allies on the heavy line have decided to push in because either they realize there's few tanks over here or they recognize that they're going to be in a crossfire very soon. So they're pushing through. It's pretty obvious that this is what's going to happen. These guys are going to come through here, right? The Tiger, the Emil, and the Sturemil, or the Sturemil and the Oni will be eliminated very, very quickly because, again, you have many, many guns shooting very, very few in a crossfire scenario, so they can't even angle their armor or get their DPM into single value targets. So the plan here is to fall back as far as we can while still engaging in the battle. Behind this building in our spawning area is the best location because not only do we get shots on hill, we will also have shots as the Reds cross in front down here. The timing at leaving that hill couldn't have been better. So you can see we're repositioning, we've already done 1,000 damage, and we still haven't taken any damage. Which means we've done 1,000 damage of good trading already. We'll probably get spotted as we come around this church because the Carnarvon is pushed up right along that edge there. Yep. So we are spotted and we're getting into cover as quickly as we can. And there's a key thing that's about to happen right there. Right there. And I know it doesn't seem obvious to you, but I'll explain it in just a second here. Not sure Yzne is dark. It may not matter because he doesn't have the Carnarvon's attention. But let's talk about this tree that he just knocked down. This tree gives us a camouflage bonus. We know that when we came around this corner, we got spotted. However, if we sit our tank behind this tree and gain the camo bonus of the tree, there's a possibility that we can poke out here without being lit and take a shot. This gives your tank a first shot advantage, meaning you will stay dark until you fire. Once you fire, you lose the camo bonus of the tree unless you're 15 meters behind it, but we're right against the red line. There's not enough room to be 15 meters behind it. So from here, we can take shots for as long as we want, and will only be spotted after firing, although the IKV-90B down here might be a little close. It's debatable, but still, the second thing that this provides us is a way to get out. So if a lot of tanks get up in here, and it's time to get out of this location, this tree may provide just enough camo cover to cross this gap here, safely, right? And that's kind of a big deal. So there's 2 folds on that tree, and it's such a simple play and so low key that most people probably won't notice such a thing. RNG robbing us of a little bit of damage there. We can see there is a medium sneaking around down to our right. There we go. We did switch to gold so that we can penetrate the turret armor a little bit easier there. Robbed again. Okay, we're looking down the lane there. This is excellent. What we're doing is we're getting damage for no return by taking advantage of this crossing, right? So the red tanks here have decided they want to cross here and take out these 3 isolated tanks here, which is a smart move. So what we're going to do is take down as many of their hit points as they can while they're open and crossing and not taking damage in return. So he's doing good macro trades here for the gameplay and good micro trades. We're keeping our gun hot and active in the match, even though our team is doing a great job at throwing the game. There's still that Carnarvon up top. So what you can see here is we've recognized that the SU-101 still hasn't been spotted and that he might be in this lane. So we're setting up to side scrape so that we can just get a little bit of vision down this lane. So this is a really good way to poke this corner because from an opposing view, what we have is we're, again, minimizing the target that we're presenting to the enemy. Look at this. That's almost perfect, right? We have just enough to see with our gun barrel. We know that the tracks along the side are going to bounce and absorb a lot of damage, including an SU-101, and our only weakness is down here on this lower plate, and maybe the upper plate depending on the penetration value. The upper plate could possibly pen it, but if we include both of those zones, we still have very, very small target area there. So we're minimizing our exposure to get vision and possibly more damage. Excellent job there. We did again get spotted by the Carnarvons. We're gonna hug back into the wall. Ooh, we took one from artillery. Thanks, Artie, for reminding us that you're playing the game still. So we see that our allies are finally in this gap looking this way, but it's too late at this point. We see the Super Hellcat is trying to get cap pressure down. We found where the M12 is. We're going to relocate to the 1-2 line to see if there's any opportunities that we can get damage over on this side. To sit back where we were and keep fighting in this gap relies on their team to push back the way they came, which they may not do. They might come through here. They could come through here. There's a lot of different angles that they could approach from. So what we're trying to do is set up our tank to help on the objective. That's spotted. We got a charioteer we're going to try and get shots into there. Look at this. After we got spotted, we got a shot down range, and look at, we're already setting up ourselves into another side scrape. See this? Again, we are minimizing the target that we're presenting the enemy while maximizing our ability to do damage. We see the charioteer is backed off. There's a Carnarvon approaching into our spawning location. There's a pilot, an SU-101. We thought maybe we could help the cap. It's pretty much a lost cause. We're gonna hug where the JP is and try and keep defending as best as we can. I would like to point out, even though we've taken damage from artillery, we're up almost 2,000 damage just by minimizing exposure and keeping our gun active in the game and taking advantage when we could. We've got a pilot approaching. So again, we can fire over this debris, exposing just our turret. And as we rotate our hull outward, so as we back up, we're rotating our hull this way to make a really severe angle off the top while hiding our track wheel out here to give us the best opportunity to bounce shots coming in at the upper hull. Bounce that one. Okay, they've got a lot of tanks down this lane. Let's look at target prioritization here, okay? We have a full health IS-3, a 2-shot pilot, a 1-shot Panther, and a 2-shot, 3-shot there SU. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a gun out of the game. By taking a gun out of the game, we might give our team a little bit better chance at winning. Obviously now there's such a massive overmatch here that we are very unlikely to win, but taking guns out of the game helps you survive longer. Down to a 2-shot on the 152, and we can't back up. We're raging a little bit. Out the way, Panther. Oh, we can get a kill shot now. 152 is down. Immediately we realize, suddenly, we're in a really tough spot, okay? And this is why I wanted to do this replay, was to demonstrate the decision making that's about to happen. Okay, so let's just back up here, zoom out, and see what we're looking at. You're surrounded on 3 flanks. Okay, you have the IS-3, the pilot, the IKV, the charioteer. So you got tanks coming in this way, you have tanks coming in this way, and eventually the Carnarvon will either hit this tank or he'll be over here, and eventually we'll have shots coming this way. So if I was playing this vehicle, what you want to do is drive into the weakest flank possible, okay? Always be thinking one more shot of damage. So I'm going to put another sticky link up over here in the top corner. That'll be to actually the first video I did for coaching. Well, not coaching, but the first guide that I made a video for, which is what to do if you're the last tank standing, which we're pretty close to at this point in time, which is to basically always be thinking one more shot of damage. Just give me one more shot. I just want one more shot of damage, and to never give up. So most people in this scenario, they would just keep trying to brawl, or they turn around and brawl this way. They would basically maybe keep trying to damage tanks, but they would have given up. Other players will then think, I need to push into the weakest flank because what I want to do is minimize the number of guns that have an opportunity to shoot at me while I dish out as much damage as I possibly can during my death throws. There's two options here. He can turn around and roll this way, not stopping at the IKV, but literally driving through here, okay? However, he will be chased by the IS-3, the pilot, and possibly the Tiger 1. We don't know where the Tiger 1 is, but I imagine he is rolling down this direction somewhere. There is also a Carnarvon headed possibly this way, and a Black Prince, possibly. So what we'll see here is some incredible decision making, but I want to make note, we're at 2,800 damage, and we have 1,200 hit points, all right? Just watch this for a second. Simply astonishing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. That snapshot was insanely lucky. Okay, let's talk about what just happened. Let's look at the minimap. All right, so we realized we were having tanks come this way. There were tanks coming this way, and there were tanks coming this way. So what Yzne did is he said, where is the path that I can minimize the number of guns shooting in my direction so that I can maximize the number of shots I can still take before I die? And his answer was miraculously to come through this alleyway and then keep pushing out this way, okay? Why did he do that? So he exposed himself to 3 tanks that were in this alleyway here. He exposed himself to that crossing in order to get this map positioning. And he took out the T25 pilot in the process. Okay, so he took 3 shots of damage, and he bounced the IKV and got through, okay? That cost him a lot of hit points, but on the flip side, he dished out 2 shots of damage, killed a tank, and got into a map position that minimizes the number of guns that are able to shoot at him. So the Carnarvon, instead of going this way like I predicted, he actually went this way to kill off the T20, okay? Which means that if we had bailed this way, we would have had to deal with the IKV, the Charioteer, and the Carnarvon, allowing these tanks to sweep around us. By taking this path, we managed to snapshot a couple into the Charioteer, kill off the pilot, and still keep our gun hot in a 1-to-1, 1-to-2 fight, which is simply astonishing. Really unlucky there that we got set on fire by the Tiger 1. However, we're going to return the favor by getting another shot into him. We're trying to get hidden. We bounced another shot, and we got another shot in. So let's point something out. We were at 2,800 damage moments ago, and now we're sitting at 4,197. It's crazy. That simple play of minimizing the number of tanks that can shoot at him by relocating earned him another 1,000 damage easily. Potentially, he could have had even more had he angled slightly better against the IKB. But at this point, I mean, the game was over. But crazy how good this match was by just having strong positioning. Insanely good. Well, guys, that's it for Coach's Corner featuring our friend Yzne. Again, there will be a link in the description to his Twitch channel, along with this particular recording of this replay if you'd like to watch it live. I highly recommend you give him a follow, and yeah, if you enjoyed this review, throw in a like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Coach's Corner. Thanks, guys.